Hey, I have been so busy behind the scenes, I haven't given much chance to film right here on the homestead. So I'm going to catch you guys up to speed on what's been happening behind the scenes and what's getting ready to happen and what's expected to happen. Stay tuned, I'll be right back. Welcome back to Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. I'm your host, Jerry Hanson. I've been busy, really busy behind the scenes. I haven't had much of an opportunity to film for my channel, Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. I did go across the street and we filmed about 4 or 5 episodes over there. So we've got enough episodes going through next week. And I got a pile of product that Vivor sends me to do reviews on these. This is like the online version of Harbor Freight. These are tools for half the price, and I've been featuring them along the way. We just featured a bunch of them over at Southern Oregon Safari where buffalo roam. And also I wanted to do a plug right here. We've been up 2 months now. Hayden and I started filming his rhinos and his elephants and tortoises, buffalo. We're in the elephant barn right now, and Hayden's going to do some foot care on the elephants. Who knew elephants needed foot care? We're going to find out. We'll be right back. Anyway, we've got 2 months worth of shows out there. About a month into it, we've got the attention of a producer out of California, and he wants to raise some funds to film a pilot. Yeah, he wants to film a pilot and present it to like Netflix. So they're doing a GoFundMe. They're raising $100,000 to fund this pilot project. He is a filmmaker, and they've got over half the amount. So they're asking that you guys click on the GoFundMe link. Yep, I'll just print the link up right here, and I'll go ahead and leave the GoFundMe link down in the description for you guys to be able to click on. $5, $10, $20, $100, any amount is appreciated. Any amount is appreciated for him. I'm not going to be a part of that project. I will be behind the scenes and doing other things with Hayden. We will continue with Southern Oregon Safari where buffalo roam, but the new show is tentatively titled For the Love of Animals. So I wanted to plug that right here. And Jordan is the name of the producer, and Dronecasts is the name of his company. You can look them up. So I'll give you all the links. Check those out. So as far as my homestead goes, I've been getting ready to do some beekeeping, some more beekeeping. I do a lot behind the scenes. I've taken honey. We've got that stored up. I've got other things that I don't show because I've already showed those in previous episodes. When I harvested honey, I just didn't feel like it was necessary to film it again. Maybe in the future when I perfect my method, I'll film the episode. And also, I gotta paint all the outbuildings. I've got the paint. I want to improve them and update them. Building by building. I did do some improvements and updating, well, just improvements to the bunny bungalow. Namely, I had to put a wire screen over the windows to keep the rats from getting in. They're managing to get in everywhere. So in spite of my 9 farm kitties that we have roaming around the homestead, and our owl that we have that lives in the area, and the little family of fox that comes and hunts these little creatures, I still have a problem. So I just keep using my live traps and my snap traps, and I'm having more success with my baking soda and cornbread mix to get rid of these in the areas where I don't want them. And more improvements I'm doing right now is I'm upgrading the greenhouse. MISTY RANEY from the internationally hit TV show Homestead Rescue that airs on Discovery Channel and Animal Planet. Her and her family came to our homestead, taught us some skills to better our chances at survival, which worked. I mean, look at us today. That was 7 years ago. We filmed the original episode, Honey, I Torched the Homestead. That film shows and reruns all over the world. And what's really funny about it is I have fans that call in from all over the world because they talk about my YouTube channel on there. Or they write in and stuff. And so apparently my voice is dubbed in Korean and Japanese, in Portuguese, French, German, wherever in the world this airs. I would really like to get a little short clip of my family talking in whatever dialect in the country that they are appearing in. That would be cool. That would be really cool. And I'll get back to MISTY in a minute because I really want to thank her for something. But also get ready, season 11. Tentatively, we filmed an episode for season 11. Tune in this fall, 2023, and watch season 11 of Homestead Rescue. Yeah. So MISTY built my greenhouse, and kudos to Marty for raising one smart cookie. MISTY was incredibly intuitive, more than she even realized. MISTY was really intuitive on placing my greenhouse where it was placed. It sits on the edge of the garden. It gets maximum exposure to the sun when we need the sun when we're growing things in the greenhouse. That is in like the fall, winter, and spring when we're starting seeds and growing stuff in there. I had some crops growing in there for 5 years straight. This year I decided I'm just going to let everything cleaned out. And as you can see, the contents of the greenhouse threw up all over the yard. And there was a reason for that. I disassembled everything because MISTY's intuitiveness, she put the greenhouse right over the top of my water line that surfaces the middle of the lawn right here to the middle of the garden and travels right underneath there. Yeah. So I went dug a hole, I exposed the line, I cut the line, and I put in this splicer and these attachments, and I plumbed in a hose bib inside the greenhouse. So now I have water inside the greenhouse. I am so excited for that. No longer dealing with running water out there in the buckets during the winter time. I have everything right there, and chances are it will not freeze because MISTY's water barrels, the big black barrels, they'll be restored to their place and filled and functional. Plus I have that propane heater to help supplement to get us some food crops throughout the winter, and that's what we're striving for. We've already started beginning to lay cement. That's why I wanted to do this. I wanted to get out of the mud, and I was able to purchase cement because I sold a bunch of livestock. Yeah, I sold half the gaggle of geese I had. I went and sold them on Craigslist and managed to get enough money to buy this much cement. I'll need some more. Also, I have some more livestock for sale, but we're going to go ahead and see how much we can get going out there. Anyway, still plan on painting the inside. That's still on my agenda. I'm building new stands for the buckets, the bins that I have that I grow in. Those things are so handy. You can either fill them with soil and grow your shallow root green vegetables in there. Don't have too much luck growing deep root crops in there. I need to come up with another idea for growing deep-rooted crops in the greenhouse through the winter. But they also are very handy for holding potted plants, for starting them in the greenhouse. Now, for starting seeds in the greenhouse, I've got a project I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be building a multifunctional piece right along here, or just inside the window there. I've got my grow lights. They'll go right over the top, and that will be a seed starter table. Now imagine, I have my egg turner out of one incubator, and it's setting eggs before they go into incubation. I turn the eggs while I'm collecting them. Then once I have enough eggs to go in the incubator, the next station will be the incubator, which will incubate the eggs for a set many of days. Then when it gets close to hatching time, the second incubator will be a hatcher that will take the eggs out, lay them down, and let the little birds get into rotation and start pipping, zipping, and hatching is what it's called. And then the rest of the table will be heated from underneath, so I can put trays of pots in there with seeds in them to start my seedlings, and then transplant them in bigger pots and grow them out in the greenhouse, and then eventually transplant them into the garden. And the next, what heats it, this is my jerry rig. What heats it is, it's going to be like a box under there, but I'm going to have 4 compartments. Each compartment will have a light bulb, an incandescent light bulb. I've got a stockpile of them. I'll be buying some more because I just read that they're banning the incandescent light bulb, and if I can't get any more incandescent light bulbs, then we'll just go for those little reptile heaters that screw into a regular light bulb socket, and we can use those. But until then, I'll use up all of my incandescent bulbs that I have, which radiates the heat up through the bottom of the tray where the seeds set, and it keeps it nice and warm, and it allows the seeds to germinate. It also creates a chamber of heat. It'll only be this high. It'll be exactly high enough, about that high, for one of these to set in. I'll have a waterer and a feeder in each chamber. They'll have a screen wire bottom and a tray underneath that keeps their soilage, and that soilage will be cleaned out and dumped into my worm bin and gives the worms a meal also. And so everything's repurposed, recycled, and reused. So it's all enclosed. In the front will be doors that are plexiglass doors, so I can see in there. I can just, they'll be held shut theoretically by magnets. I think I'm going to get magnet closers on them and just hold them closed. That way I can just open a door and handle the chicks, and when they get old enough, clear them out and put them into a more suitable environment. I think I'll put them in a turkey house, because it's kind of like a greenhouse. It's warm in there, but it's not the greenhouse. So we'll just brood the birds in here in that little brood chamber that is also a seed starter. So what do you think? Give me a thumbs up if you like that idea. And speaking of the garden, I spent August 1st planting my fall crops. All these, there's a bunch of crops you can plant in the fall. Check your growing zone. I live in zone 8, and we live high altitude up in the Cascade Ranges, so right now is the time because it's hot enough for the seeds to germinate. But these are cool weather crops. I planted a lot of root crop and some hardy leaf crops like broccoli, cabbage. I planted some lettuce. Root crops, I planted beets. I planted a variety of radish, turnip, and carrots, a bunch of carrots. So we're going to be growing all those in these raised beds. My potatoes are finishing out. I've got beets and turnip over here I need to harvest because those grew through the summer. I've got cucumbers growing. I also planted beans and cucumbers right now, so those will have time to grow up and fruit out. And I also planted a few zucchini. Now I'll be able to get some zucchini before it freezes and kills it. So we're going to go with that plan, and that's what I do in August first. I also wanted to point out this fencing here is going to be this is leftover fencing from doing my poultry around my chicken run. This fencing will go across here. I'll double fence the garden area because sometimes I get a critter in the backyard. I don't know how it's getting in. I thought I fortified my fence well enough. But this one, I'll be putting fence between the greenhouse and the fences and the gate over there, and try to create an extra barrier to keep critters out of my garden. But the fence is also used as support that I'm reinforcing the cement in the quickcrete in the greenhouse. I put that down. I put a barrier down. Put that down, and then right now I'm dry pouring my quickcrete, and then I just wet it down really good, and then walk away. And I do it section by section. So I'm about halfway through the process. I have about another 20 bags to complete the process, and then I can go buy my timber and build the frames that I want to build to hold the bins, and also build that structure, the brooder seed starter bin. Also, I started off talking about the TV show that guy wants to film. I have been busy with my own filming, between filming this episode for you guys on my farm, filming with Hayden on his ranch with his exotic animals, and then I've been working with getting things wrapped up, and we just signed papers, was it last week, with the network, with Discovery Channel, or for Discovery Channel, for that new show we're launching. So stay tuned for that. I'll be able to talk more details about that. And then also my filmmaking is getting small parts in films, but mainly being an executive producer for those films. We just wrapped up one big major length motion picture that will tentatively be out this fall in select theaters the eve of May, so watch for that. I have 3 cameo appearances in that. Tonight, I need to go down and meet with a director and a writer. We're going to be scoping out. I've committed to being executive producer of yet another movie. I'll tell you guys more details about that. I'll release some film shots while we're filming that. I think we start filming tomorrow, and Sunday. Those are 2 days I'll be involved with filming, and I'm getting a cameo appearance. And I'm going to have some opportunities for product placement. I'll talk to you a little bit more about that when that happens. I'll save that for another show. So I'm busy. Did I mention I was busy? Yep. Anyway, plus maintaining my own homestead, upgrading and getting things ready for when things happen that we unexpectedly happen. We're still expecting that major slip in the Cascadia fault line, which could disrupt a lot of services. That's one thing we're really concerned about. So we're condensing everything down, trying to not be so reliant on electricity, so everything we're getting is not related to using electricity. If I have to, I'll use the birds to incubate the eggs and just go from there. But I have plenty of food everywhere that grows naturally in the environment. I've been learning about that, and plus the wildlife that comes through. We can glean some protein, plus my own livestock and glean some protein. But anyway, that's what's happening on the homestead. I'm your host, Jerry Hanson. This is Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. We're a frugal homestead tucked high in the Cascade Ranges of the Pacific Northwest. Please stay tuned to more videos. You could do that by subscribing and clicking that bell icon that alerts you to new videos as I upload them. A special thank you to MISTY RANEY for planning where you plan the greenhouse. I really appreciate that. And then also anybody that's interested in donating just a little bit of money or a lot of money to that other venture. We're trying to raise up total of $100,000 through GoFundMe to film that other major project. We're over halfway there. Last I saw last night was over $50,000. So yeah, every little bit helps. So if you guys can click that link. Be safe, always be kind. We'll see you guys in my next adventure. Bye-bye.